Hi, you're listening to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. This is a podcast for moms, entrepreneurs, and neurodivergent folks who want to get a better handle on their time and energy management. I am your host, Jill Wright, author of Happy, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, and the creator of the Time Magic Seasonal Planner. I am so excited you're here. Let's dive straight into today's episode. Okay, this is coming a few days after the fall equinox. And I intended to get this recorded much closer in date to the equinox, but I'm actually recording this uh, the morning it is being released, which is very unusual for me. It's been a very busy, busy time. And I just wanted to give anyone else, first and foremost, who is also feeling overwhelmed and busy, some permission to slow down. I think that is exactly what this season teaches us in fall as the days get shorter and light and dark get more balanced. We should bring in some balance to our lives. And if we take our cues from nature, what are the trees doing right now? What are the animals doing right now? Right? The trees are shedding their leaves. The animals are preparing for hibernation. We are slowing down, but we're also preparing for the slowdown. So it can feel really busy as we do that. So just acknowledging I'm there with you. I am also feeling very busy preparing for a slowdown of the winter. Back to school season is always really busy. So if you're also feeling that, just wanted to let you know you are not alone in it. It is my new interest, hobby, obsession to really dive into ancient and traditional wisdom, earth wisdom, indigenous wisdom, spiritual wisdom, and how it relates to time. Shocker. And so for me, that is how do I live more in alignment with the natural energies and what's happening in the world rather than focusing on living by the clock, by the 9 to 5. And I struggled with this, if I'm being honest with you, because all the learning I'm doing from a variety of different sources and teachers, all of the learning that I'm doing makes me really want to just go live in the woods under a rock with no electricity in the way that it was and really honor the traditional ways. To slow down, to be in rhythm with the seasons, with the moon, with it all, with nature. And then I got this really awful, guilt-filled realization that I can't do that because I have a very privileged first world white modern life. And it's just not what, unless I drop everything I've got going on, including my job and my family and my income and my house and all of the things, unless I drop that all, I can't have the same experience that I'm really longing for, that my soul really wants. And so I struggled with this for a long time, feeling guilty about my current circumstances, but really wanting to have different ones and feeling guilty about all the comfort that I was experiencing. And I sort of came to this realization that I can bring in smaller pieces. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. I don't know how many times I need to learn this lesson. It does not have to be all or nothing. We can take small steps and they still count, right? I say that to you guys all the time. So I needed to hear that for myself. And so what I want to share with you today is a very brief snippet of what I understand this seasonal energy to be in fall, in autumn, and how I am bringing small snippets of ancient traditions and rituals and ceremonies and wisdom into my very modern real life that exists, that I don't need to feel guilty about. It is just where I've landed this time. This is the game. And how I can merge the two in a way that feels really authentic to me. And so I would encourage you, if you're listening, to choose what feels authentic to you. It's not going to look the same as mine, but this is an invitation to really think about what you would like to bring in, how you would like to align or celebrate this season that we're in, the energy of fall. It's personally my favorite season. I've always felt like fall is the new year, probably because I was a very good student. I always loved going back to school and what that meant. And for me, that felt like a fresh start. And then I realized that many Indigenous traditions actually do start their calendar in the fall, probably a little bit later than September. It can often be November. But this is the energy of the time. And so it was nice to know that I've always picked up on that, right? And so let's get into it. The fall equinox this year was the 22nd of September. It's the time of the year where light and dark are equal. And from this point on, we get less sunlight in the northern hemisphere and more darkness. And we are heading into winter. Well, first we have to get through fall. Let's not rush. My favorite season. We are in fall now officially. And this is really a time of traditionally like the harvest, of being grateful for everything that has been provided, of feeling abundance as we collect everything and store and plan for the winter. This is the vibe, right? And it's really about balance and reflection, letting go, but also letting go so that you can move into what's next, right? So you're not carrying with you all the extra stuff that you might not need anymore. So I want to share with you guys some of the information that I found and some things that you could bring into your life to really land with this season. It is the season of, or the month of, specifically September, the month of the sage archetype in Melissa Siemens' Wheel of Wisdom, right? It's the elder, it's the crone. And this is consistent among like Celtic traditions, pagan traditions, this time of year. That is the archetype that we are embodying, right? The theme of wisdom and receptivity, like being able to actually receive these beautiful gifts, right? Of slowing down, that time in our lives where we are slowing down. It is, as I had mentioned, the harvest in many cultures. This is where all of the fruits and vegetables and grains and everything come to fruition and we collect them and we feel the gratitude for what that is. There's camaraderie, there's teamwork, there's abundance. A few different things that we can do to bring in these ideas. Light a candle, celebrate that light versus dark, really think on it, right? It could be a fire in the fireplace or the backyard, it could be a candle. Bringing that element of fire in is a really good element to work with this time of year. Also, earth is a really good element to work with because we are grounding, right? We are making sure that we are feeling abundant and grateful and really grounding to earth is a good thing. So if you can be outside, going for a walk, I know that sounds like an easy, simple one. Going for a walk somewhere in nature with no devices, no one else, going with the intention to pay attention to what's happening around you and really take it all in. Maybe go with, you know, a meditation on your like ear set, or go with a notebook and meditate in a spot that you find, or bring your tarot deck or something like that, but be willing to receive some wisdom in this space and be respectful and grateful about the fact that you are in nature, right? And you are receiving everything nature has to offer. And maybe giving an offering back, bringing some herbs or some flower petals or singing a song to a tree or something like that will really help you feel a lot more connected in nature. In our homes, there's lots of things that we can do. We can create a little altar space or just seasonal tokens, like bringing acorns or pine cones or cedar leaves or apple, right? Some of these seasonal herbs, fruits, vegetables would be good too, little gourds or decorative corns, things like that that you find, and just decorating the home or the desk that you're at to be a bit of a seasonal marker. We can get out our journals, or if you're like me, do it verbally and practice some gratitude journaling, right? There's prompts that you can use, like what do I need to let go of? What seeds do I want to plant for the next season? A lot of times we plant our seeds in the fall, right? Sometimes we plant them in the spring too, but a lot of times it's in the fall. What can you let go of? What can you seed? What do you want to bring in? What are you grateful for? What's happened over the last season that you can reflect on, right? Um, Activities you could do. You could go to an apple orchard, visit a farmer's market, really cook with seasonal local ingredients and spices. Add some cinnamon to your coffee. Clear and cleanse your house using sage or cedar or something like that, some kind of smudge where you can clear and clean the energy of the house, reset with the intention of releasing anything that is not serving you. In the energy of abundance and harvest, you could donate to a food bank, right? There's lots of different things you can bring in as symbols and tokens that can help you connect with the energy of fall as well. Owls. Owls represent wisdom. Same thing with bees. Those are good animals to connect with. Ravens, deer, right? Um, as I mentioned, apples, like acorns, spirals, the scales of balance, like you see, right, with lawyers. Some crystals that are good would be smoky quartz to help you with releasing, right? Herbs could be rosemary. I've actually got my diffuser with rosemary oil in there going this time of year. Cinnamon, as I said, which represents abundance. Sage, which can represent release. If you got mugwort, you can burn mugwort. That is to connect with your intuition, right? This time of year, the veil is thin, as they say, between the worlds. So between the physical world and the metaphysical world, this is the time of year where that veil is very thin, and we have the ability to reach in and cross over and learn lessons and have downloads and really connect with the other side, the ancestors, the land spirits, whoever and whatever energies you feel called to tap into. It's a really good time to be able to do that now. So taking some time for a spiritual practice this time of year can be very powerful. I'll give you some other questions that you can explore, whether in meditation or journaling, journeying, if you do drum journeying. Here's a few. What has fulfilled its role in my life? What can I release? What am I most grateful for this year? Where do I need more balance? And what seeds of intention do I want to plant for this darker season ahead? It's something that I feel so called to dive into, not just this season, but sort of recognizing the different energies as we go through seasons. If you're somewhere like me in the north of the northern North America, you get seasons, right? We can see it happening outside. We can feel the different energies, and yet we're very busy. We're on a cyclical clock, a linear calendar. Like we aren't taking the time to, many of us anyways, aren't taking the time to really feel into what's happening around us and what the energy is of the season and how we can work with that to make our lives easier, which is what I'm all about. Ease, balance, clarity, space, focus. Let's bring that all in so that we can have some peace and that we can enjoy going through this season in a way that we might not have thought about otherwise. So I just want to close this up by inviting you to remember that the equinox specifically, but the fall season invites us to celebrate abundance, release what no longer serves us, honor the balance of light and dark. If you're looking for an affirmation to use this season, you could try this one. I honor the balance within and around me. I release gratitude and I welcome the wisdom of the season. And saying that a few times a day, writing that down, coming back to it as an anchor to set an intention. I invite you to try one of the things that I mentioned in this podcast this season. Maybe try a few, see what works. I'd love to know. For me, it's the cinnamon in the coffee, the rosemary in the diffuser, saging the space, even wearing colors, like wearing reds and oranges and golds and yellows and browns this time of year. Or if you've got jewelry with owls or deers or acorns, you could really just bring in this energy in so many ways. And I'd be so curious to know how it feels for you, what you feel called to work with, if it's one of the elements like earth or fire, if it's a crystal, it's an affirmation, maybe it's a specific oil, like rosemary oil, or I'd love to know how it hits you, because I think for each of it's different, and it's going to depend a lot on our lineage, our history, our interests, our soul experience, and a whole bunch of other things. So, just a quick thank you if you're here listening to me babble about this. I find it very interesting, and I'm curious to learn more. So as I go deeper into this, I will bring you along. Each season, I plan to do a little podcast like this, and maybe even a gathering locally, or a class to help you curate like a seasonal toolkit that's going to help you flow through the season and the time of your life with ease and with tools that can really support that in a natural way. So share with me your practices, share with me what you got going on. I'd love to know. In the email this week, I have a few more ideas of how you could really bring in practices to your modern life in small and simple ways that aren't going to require you to go live in the woods, that aren't going to break the bank or take all your time, because it is a busy time of year. And also, it's a time for us to start thinking about heading into the darkness, into the quiet. What can we release? So that is all for me this week, my friends. Until next week, keep on growing like a mother.